Hi, thank you so much for being here. I'm Monica with Temple of Geek, and I just watched the first and second seasons, and I loved it. And I guess
you watched all of season 2?
Yes.
Oh wow, you're in.
I'm in it, and I'm excited to talk to you. But one of the biggest questions I had for you is, what was your experience working amid a pandemic?
Right. Okay. We shot this pre-pandemic.
Oh.
So I can't answer to that with specific relation to Flack, but I have been shooting during the pandemic. If you're interested in that.
Absolutely.
The truth. So it's really interesting. Different people have different ways of dealing with it, and different countries have different codes of what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. So I was in Bulgaria shooting, and it was incredibly strict. All the actors were on one floor, and during quarantine and stuff, we weren't allowed to see each other. And I, being like 51, snuck out, found the elevator that went down the back, and I went out into the woods one day and did a very stupid thing and sent a couple of the people a picture of where I was. And then I got found out that I'd like escaped and I was by myself in the middle of a wood, you know? But so different countries have different things. I then went to do this little low budget indie in England, and it was a lot less strict. And then I was in Montana doing something, and that was really strict, but had different protocols. A lot of swabs stuck up my nose at this point, as I'm sure you all have had. And certain people do it in a nicer way than others. Not gonna lie. I'm somebody who likes a gentle caress with a cotton bud. But yeah, I think it's been a massive learning curve for all of us in terms of just like being so grateful for being able to work and being able to get out and actually do stuff. It's, finally being able to sort of be somewhat free again is very liberating.
Kathy Cup of Soul show. So my question for you is, this show is all about stopping the bleeding. But as you know, we've had, the world is a little bit different. We're holding people more accountable, and people tell regardless of how much you try to stop. So what would you give someone's advice? If you are someone that is being naughty, what would you say, especially in this day and age where everybody's selling out everything and posting everything on social media?
Well, I think, don't get caught. If you're doing something really, really stupid, and with somebody else, take their camera away, check the room for closed circuit television. And, I don't know. I think what's interesting about celebrity is that celebrities are held not to a higher account, they're just held to account. Because you're in the public eye, people are more interested in your fallibility and the stupid stuff you get up to than they are anybody else who's doing it, or somebody who runs an office in El Segundo. They might be doing the same thing that you're doing, but they're just not doing it in the public eye. So you have a certain responsibility to your own life, your own career, your loved one's career, your children, if you're in that position. So don't do it, or be prepared to take the consequences. There's nothing you can do at this point. Anything that, you go out at 4 o'clock in the morning, there's still going to be somebody filming you and making money out of selling it. So I think if there's anything that we have learned from doing the show, it's like anything's up for grabs.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hi, Stephens. James Witham, Down and Nerdy Podcast.
Hi, James. It's Stephen, by the way, guys. But
Stephen. Sorry about that.
But I have Steph Curry's dad to blame for making, because Stephen with an E is Stephen and Stefan is with an A. And
I'm sure your jump shot is just as good.
My 3-pointers don't quite add up to Steph's. Carry on.
What I wanted to ask you was, you actually got to sit in the director's chair for a couple of episodes this season. Actually, the latter two episodes of season 2, which actually also happened to be the most heavy episodes for Anna as well. So, given that, I mean, what was it like to kind of put those just raw emotional episodes together?
We knew that the prior season I was still in Atlanta doing The Gifted, and so even though I'd set it up and helped exec produce it, I wasn't there as much. Second season I was working as well, but I knew that the end of the season I was going to be free. And what that meant was that the ones that we had possibly talked about me directing happened to be these 2 episodes, and that actually I think worked out very well for everybody, because Anna and I have a really great working relationship and a trust. And it just happened to be that these were two very, very deep and dark episodes. You know, Robyn is an addict who is got this terrible nihilistic streak, and we knew that we were going to a difficult place with the character, and we knew that we had to do it properly if we were going to do it. So it was really great that it was us, because I was able to be, because Anna, when she does it, Anna when she works, she goes to the place. She doesn't hold back, and that has repercussions, you know. Because you don't just go there and not have an emotional response to what you've just done. And so I was there to sort of help her with that. And you know, back in England, you know, I've still got house from when I was there before I came to America, which is really helpful for us. So being able to go home, not by yourself, to some sort of hotel room, I think was really helpful, because you know, we put Robyn through the ringer a bit this year, as you know, if you've watched like the 6 episodes. It was amazing. You know, she's just extraordinary, my missus, and it's just such. I'm so grateful, and so to be able to work with her and see her brilliance, and be able to have some kind of part of helping create that. You know, it's an extraordinary character who we've taken really to sort of the, you know, we always knew that season 2 was going to be sort of Dante's Inferno. That was our model. You know, show her how she is and how she's sort of coping. Season 2 will be the descent, and into her finding out some stuff about herself and going to, you know, where she gets to by the end of that. And so we had an amazing time, surrounded by all these brilliant actors as well. You know, Sam Neill is a friend of ours, and I'd worked with him, and Anna's obviously worked with him on the piano. So we had a relationship with Sam. Daniel's lovely. Martha Plimpton obviously came in. And also some friends of mine. Mark Warren was back, who's one of my best friends, and Kevin Bishop, who's also a dear friend of mine, just being brilliant in episode 6. So she's surrounded by people that she has massive respect for, as well as obviously Lydia and Rebecca and Sophie, like holding on to her. So I don't know, I you know, and we know it goes to some difficult places, but we also know that it was, that there's a lot of truth in what's happening to that character that we wanted to talk about.
No doubt. Thank you.
Your last 2 episodes are so intense and so dark, like you mentioned, and they're really emotional. What do you hope the audience takes away with them when they watch it, and you know, what do you hope that they take home with them?
Anna is a very authentic human being, and so we knew that when we were going to be talking about addiction, we weren't going to be doing the glossy version of addiction. We were going to be doing, you know, obviously our show is about the gloss and scraping away the gloss. And her character is the person who puts the gloss out there so that you don't see the underneath. So, but she's just a normal human being who's got shit going on underneath her stuff as well. And as it gets worse, and as it, you know, as stuff starts to bubble up for her, we start seeing more dark than we see the gloss, until it's just the dark. And that's what happens with addiction. It's like we get to those places of where you're not taking intervention from anyone else, nobody's helping you, and you go to, you know, my wish for it is that people see themselves reflected somehow and can see maybe that they're not as bad as that, but they've still got an issue or something like that. And you know, by dealing with it and talking about it, you are able to cope with it before it hopefully gets to the place that it gets to for Robyn.
Stephen, RC Samo, Fanboy Nation.
Hey, awesome.
Real quick, congratulations on having a Hollywood diamond wedding anniversary and the fact that you've been married for 11 years at this point.
Triple diamond.
Yes. When working with your spouse on something this intense, and you mentioned that Anna will go deep into it and have these visceral emotional reactions, how do the two of you cope together in calming down and returning to reality? Because when you put yourself into your work, it's real in the moment, but it's still coming off the page. And then going home and being Stephen and Anna.
I directed Anna in a film in 2017, which is a really difficult little movie about a family dealing with suicide. And that Dennis O'Hare wrote, who was in True Blood with us, and I'd seen, even because in that movie, Anna is the character who dies, and even though she's not we only visit her in flashback, we don't see her in present time. You know, I have seen Anna work obviously on other jobs and on True Blood, and I've seen how far she goes into her work. And like I was saying earlier, I'm glad it was me that was doing this stuff with her, because it's not just like a tap. You can't just turn it on and turn it off. And if you are truly authentic and you're going to those places emotionally, when they say cut, it's still there. You know, it's still it's still underneath them. So, you know, and this was a 4 or 5 month job of this character's descent, you know. So Anna there's repercussions for Anna, you know. She's used to that. That's what she does for a living. It's something that the audience don't get to see, but there are repercussions. There are, you know, you have to sort of get comfortable again with having exposed that vulnerability. And when you scratch the surface of all the stuff that one has underneath, like we all have, when that's kind of the point of this, we all have this stuff underneath, and it's how we deal with it or don't deal with it that leads to these instances. And so when you've scratched away at it, you've scratched away at some of the stuff that's underneath for you as well. So, you know, I think, you know, we finished this and then the pandemic happened. And so she's had a good year. We've all had a good year of sort of like, you know, being ready to go and tackle anything that again after that, but it was nice to have a break, I think, is the best way of putting it.
Thank you.
Do you feel that Robyn's ability to clean up these messes is because she's such a mess? Like, she understands in her clients the fallacies that she has, because, you know, her moral compass is like, her logic is very skewed. And do you feel like that makes her so believable and so good at her job? I mean, it's like it's a gift and a curse at the same time. I
think that's excellently put. I think that she's, because of her own experience of the world, she knows how much effort has to go into skating on the surface, you know, to clear up that stuff. She's probably become brilliant at this job because she's so good at doing it for herself. But the tagline that we always used when we were selling the show, you know, because we've been developing it since like 2014, 15, was always like, great at sorting other people's shit out, crap at her own, right? And so, you know, oftentimes that is how we are. You know, the best psychologists are often the most screwed up people, because they know how it feels, and you know, a lot of us are really good at giving advice but not very good at taking it, right? So you know, that's sort of the thing that we were looking at with Robyn. There's only so much covering up you can do. There's only so much gloss you can apply. There's only so much glitter, you know, that can be put on the top before it gets smudged away. And we, in the first season, set up this character in the first 20 minutes who is in charge and in top of it and completely in control. But the truth is that she has been on this hamster wheel for like 12, 15 years when we first meet her. She's been covering all this crap up in herself all that time. It just so happens that the audience meet her as it's about to drop. But we have to imagine that she's been doing great. She's risen up the food chain. She's become very, very good at. We're not interested in showing somebody being, you know, it's like Alan Ball, right? When we were doing True Blood. As soon as he put Deborah Ann and Jim together, Jessica and Hoyt together, right? Everybody wanted that relationship. It's just this beautiful relationship that's happening, right? I think it's episode 3, season 2 or something like that, or maybe episode 2, season 3. We were like, oh my God, but Alan isn't interested in showing people like being happy all the time. As soon as he put those two together in that beautiful episode, we were like, they're fucked. Because he puts obstacles in the way, you know, and that's what we do with drama. It's like, he would never make my character do anything the same again. He would put, or if he did make you do it the same again, he'd put an obstacle in your way the next time. So how's he going to deal with this? That's what life's about, right? We're doing great. We're dealing with all our stuff, and then this happens. And I think the audience are interested to see how people deal with the same stuff that we're all dealing with on a daily basis, you know? So that's what we tried to do with Robyn. We tried to sort of, and obviously we take it to extremes. Like a lot of the celebrity stories are true. A lot of those things that those people are doing are true, but we take it to the extreme version of how deep and how far that has gone, because it's entertainment, you know.
Thank you.
We'll definitely get to see that on full display. Flack season 2 premieres on Amazon Prime Video on June 11th. Stephen Moyer, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, man.